Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another video for you, and yes, I have not left. This is the same day and the same video. I said I was going to create multiple pieces of content for you guys, and I am doing such. Last video we went ahead and removed the intake to install the Holy Shift kit from Deutsch Auto Parts. If you haven't seen that video, please click in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That you don't want to miss that install, and if you are looking for a manual shifter, that is the one to get. But this video is not about the shifter. This video is simply about intakes, and we're actually going to be installing another intake on the Project Mark 7 today to freshen things up and to have more of a nice fit. I decided to go back to the roots and go back with an intake from Integrated Engineering. So without further ado, we're going to be installing the new V2 intake on the Project Mark 7, and as well as before I do that, I actually wanted to do something else. I actually wanted to do something else. I actually wanted to give a quick shout out I actually have two battery traces. As you can see, they're identical, you know, to the glance of the eye. So pretty much, unfortunately, I had issues with my my old battery tray. My old battery tray actually broke. I actually was running an MST Performance intake, and the grommets were so tight that literally I broke one of the prongs off that the intake box pushes on, and it's been broken like that for a while. So I have to give a special shout out to Auto Hose, and they're basically located in Paterson, New Jersey. For any GTIs, for instance, that if you have a GTI or if you have an Audi product or you have a Volkswagen product or Audi product that you're looking for a used part or, you know, salvage parts, you hit them up, they see if they have the part available for you, and they usually deliver either the same day or the next day. So they're great. The guys over there are great. Love you guys, and I appreciate you having this for me. And a little decal, little accent piece. It means a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and install this in the car first, in the battery, considering the fact that we had to take all this out to install the shifter, and then we will go with the intake process. So without further ado, let's go. Okay. So the box obviously looked weird like this because I already opened it already to make sure everything is in here. So I can go over the, you know, pretty much the whole product itself, what it comes with, and yeah. So this, like I said, this is the V2. This is the V2. Again, one thing, the V2 integrated V2 intake for Integrated Engineering for the, I believe this works for the Mark 7, Mark 7.5 GTI, and Rs, and A3 and S3. So I think they work for all the classes, but check Integrated Engineering's website before doing so. So this way I'm not giving you false information. So like I said, I already opened up the box previously just to make sure that everything was in here. Now, as soon as one thing that I always like about is customer service. It's one thing that's always very huge to me, very important. So that's why I like Integrated Engineering, because they even put on the box, if you're looking for a service number or a contact or anything like that, you know, they say here, thank you for your order. Your new premium performance part has been obsessively designed, engineered, and tested and to perform and provide a quality fit and finish. If for some reason you feel that we have not met that expectation, please do not hesitate to contact us. Our number is the one goal that is always to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. Congrats on your new e-part. Enjoy. So right off the bat, before you open the box fully, they give you an email, which is sales@performancebyie.com, or their phone number, which is 801-484-2021. That's literally the last 4 digits of the number. But I'm gonna show you pretty much what you get in the box. You know, your shipping label, and then put everything aside. Everything is nicely packaged, as we can clearly see. There's a lot of this paper inside of here. And like I said, I previously opened it, so there was more before. So you get your silicone hoses here. There's 2 of them that you're gonna need. You also do get, just to the side, you also do get your rubber grommets that'll go along the intake, because it is a metal track that it follows along with. Like I said, that metal tray, here's a piece of it right here. Everything, like I said, is bubble wrapped. Every single metal component is bubble wrapped and powder coated. So here's the one of the metal pipes right here. And also you do need to change the coolant hose, which I don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it. So it's going to be a fun time doing that. Hopefully I don't spill coolant everywhere, because I have a bad habit of doing that in my videos. And here is another silicone hose with 2 pipes. So pretty much now, the good thing about like my old intake pretty much had a filter, and it was a separate filter. This actually is integrated back into the intake stream, so you don't have to worry about any you know, trying to route it correctly or trying to make it look good or trying to make it function properly. and zip tying it off to the side like I had to do previously. So you get that hose, and then you get the velocity stack. So I'll open this really quickly. Doesn't matter because we're literally putting it on the car right now anyway. All right, so here's the velocity stack. Now, like I actually watched Gears and Gasoline's video. If you haven't seen their channel, go ahead and follow them. But Ben, he's actually building an EK EK K-Series build. And they did a test with the velocity stack, and it actually was proven to get more power because air is channeled into this and smoothed out and forced in. Once air is getting sucked in, it's actually going to channel the air correctly. And then also the last piece of this puzzle is the filter. Now, one thing I did really love about IE, they use dry filters. You obviously just have to, just make sure you keep servicing this, or you could buy extra filters on their website. None of the oil filters or anything like that, because that will get into your turbo, and we don't like bad stuff in our turbos. So pretty much here you go. You do have a wired mesh filter here, and then you get a metal plate that has their IE logo right here. This I always thought was pretty cool when I had my first intake from them. This was a signature piece that I really did enjoy having. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that comes in the kit, but I got a surprise for you guys, so just give me a second. So even after all of this, you can opt for this part. Now this part is optional. It does not formulate of not making the intake work like it's supposed to, but as you guys know, I had a Forge Motorsport carbon fiber intake previously, and one of the things I loved about it was the signature carbon fiber piece. Like, you open the engine bay, like, ooh, carbon fiber. So, again, this is optional. So I will move this over here. Get all the, again, packaging and paper out the way. But here is the carbon fiber piece. I'll be very, very careful with this. So, you have full carbon fiber, like a carbon fiber piece here. Look at that beautiful carbon fiber. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll bring it up close so you guys can take a good look at this piece. It's really, really nice. And it bolts right on top of the existing tray, the existing metal tray that we're going to be installing. So you don't have to ever worry about having issues with having to run this. Or, carbon fiber is a little bit more expensive. So if you don't want this piece and you want the intake, you can order it just without this piece and you should be fine. But me, I like closed box because of the simple fact that I really want to have all the carbon fibers, and I love this piece. Look how beautiful this is. And of course, their attention to detail with their logo, which you see right here, the IE stamp, and it's riveted in, all really nice and neat. So I'm done looking at this. I know you guys are done looking at this. Let's go ahead and throw it in the car and get this thing back together. So before we get started, I see that there's a bunch of pieces here. I see that this is pretty intense. It looks intense. There's a lot of different things to look at here, especially all these little pipes and stuff on the bottom, but they do include an install guide. So when you open up your box, either one of these two boxes, IE will include this in, and it says, again, thank you for purchasing the item. And then also, if you have any issues with the install guide, you could download it right on their website. It works with a phone, tablet, or computer, and it's a hassle-free install. Also, they ask you again if you're happy with the product. I'm definitely going to check a resounding yes. The quality of stuff is really, really good, and I love that filter too. And that carbon fiber bit I had to put over there because I didn't want to damage the carbon fiber. Not that I don't want to damage anything else, but the carbon fiber is really the main piece. Can't damage carbon fiber. Okay, let's get started. Let's get this installed. So as you can see here, like I said, when I did the Holy Shift kit on a GTI, I actually had to remove the battery and the battery tray and the intake. So the good thing is, you only have to see half this install, which is putting all the new stuff in together. Now, if you do want to see how to remove the intake, I'll put a link to my videos up in the right hand corner of the screen where you can look at a previous video where I had a stock box intake and took that out and put an IE intake in. That's the one I did. All the other intake videos that I've done after that, just taking off an aftermarket intake and putting another one in. So again, pretty much this is like second nature to me now to figuring this out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get everything installed. Doing this with the intake is actually going ahead and opening up, like I'm going to actually do this so that we can release any pressure that's left in the system. I mean, the car's been sitting here for 24 hours. I'm not going to open it up. I'm just going to leave it, cracked so I can relieve the pressure out of the system. So like that should be fine. And we're going to take the valve cover off because you have to remove the coolant hoses, which I have here. And they give you these two caps. So if you can see that, they give you these two caps. So every time you take one off of this side, you have to cap that off, and you have to go on the other side and cap that off. So I never am successful of doing this, ever. Like, ever. I always end up spilling coolant everywhere, and it always ends up to be a funny laugh. And literally, I'm going to pull this off and put the cap on. So it did get crazy. There was coolant definitely in that hose. I caught it really quickly. Thank you, IE, for having those caps, because I always mess this up, and I didn't have the caps before. So now that I do, I just need to mount this up so it doesn't spill over. Oh, and the coolant's coming out. So let's just hold that with the finger right there. Trying to figure out a way to do this. Oh God, gotta lift, gotta keep it up high. And then, damn, this sucks. I got it pressed up against something right now so it won't go anywhere as I remove the other side, because then I have to basically do all that, and that sucks. So I'm going to loosen the other side now, which is always going to be a fun day. And considering the fact that there's so much coolant in the hose, then it's going to pour out of this side. I just know that already. So, oh, got it. Okay. Ah, I'm spilling coolant everywhere. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Rich is gonna kill me in the shop. Luckily, I have a spill tray still in my thing here, so it's not too bad. All right, so let me get this battery terminal out the way first. Let's not get that wet. That's a hazard. And there's a little bit of coolant in here. I'm just gonna hold my hand down here while I run this up. And I literally spilled coolant everywhere inside the engine bay. But I got it out. There's no easy way of doing this at all. I tried many ways before. I got to get a rag and clean everything up. All right, so the next thing we're going to install is, so once you cap those off so that the coolant doesn't keep spooling out and going everywhere, you're actually going to go ahead and take the new coolant hose. You're going to put the two clamps that are in the small plastic bag, included in the kit. You're going to put them on each end. Remember, the one with this bend like this, that goes on the radiator side next to the windshield washer cap reservoir tank, and this will go onto the side of the engine on the top here by your map sensors.
Alright guys, so it's at this point of the video where I realized as I was editing that my microphone was not recording sound. So for the remaining of the rest of this video, it's going to be voiceover of the installation process. So this part is actually the tray of where the intake actually is built in the front of the car and is bolted to the radiator. So taking this out of the plastic right now, and also this part is actually going to be bolted up to the velocity stack portion. All that hardware is definitely included in the kit that you see in the bag behind the plate. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out about this piece is that the finish of the powder coating was high quality, and I do love the fact of that nameplate. So you see the integrated engineering nameplate that's on the side. You definitely have that. It looks clean. It looks high end with the rivet nuts and everything else. And you know, like that's pretty much what I'm talking about here. Another thing is that if you can go on their website, you know, performancebyie.com, to look at all the instructions on how to install this intake, which is what you see on my phone, just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly, because there is some pieces that you have to put together, but overall it's a pretty simple process. All right, so after the pretty much after you've connected and, you know, bolted up the velocity stack to the actual tray that sits above the radiator support, you have to put in these rubber grommets. Now, they're not going to go in so smoothly because they're dry rubber. So if you need some type of lubricant, I recommend dish detergent soap, which is what I used here. It becomes a good lubricant to actually push those grommets through so they sit in place with no problems, and then you should be good to go before putting it in the car. Okay, so now it's finally time to put this intake tray in the car. So when you're doing this, there's a couple of things you want to look out for. One, you want to make sure that all the wires and everything are out of the way. So for instance, as you see, I'm moving the battery terminal to the back of the actual intake, so it's not going to get snagged on anything. I have extra wires running through this. So for instance, I have my PM4 fuel controller wires, power wires running to this, to the front of the car, because it's connected to my battery, and also that coolant line that you just installed in the previous clip. You want to make sure that you are not snagging on that, because obviously you don't want to have a coolant leak later on down the road. And then this is the time where you actually line everything up with those rubber grommets on the battery tray. Now, when you're pushing down on the battery tray, it's a good reminder not to push down so hard on it. Remember, you just lubricated those grommets, so you should be able just to push those down. They should just slide in pretty easily with no issues at all. And then just make sure everything's aligned up, and then you're ready for the next steps. Now, in this next clip, I am sorry that there's not a lot of light, but this is exactly what the tray is supposed to look like once it's installed. But one thing I definitely want to note, and it's actually with the charge pipe that you see when you look at this. So when you see this, you see that's marking on the actual coupler, silicone hose piece that connects the two hoses together. My old intake, my Forged Motorsport intake, actually rubbed against it. And the reason why I cut into it like that was for the simple fact that I pretty much actually had to cut the carbon fiber bottom so that I can make it fit. As you see this integrated engineering one, it actually pushes it more to the driver's side, so it actually doesn't interfere with any of the other components in the car, even if you upgrade them. So this is a pretty cool piece that I actually really wanted you to know and see for yourself. How everything is actually fitted in the car. The only other thing when you're putting that in is that secondary air ejection pipe, which is that little 90-degree bend piece that's sticking out right there that I have the light on, right on the right hand side. That thing is pretty much, it only likes to bend one way, and it's really difficult to route. But if as long as it's underneath it, you should be okay for getting everything else installed with no problem. So as we look at the Forged Motorsport, this is my old intake off the car. Now, as you can see, like I said, I had to cut a hole at the bottom of it to accommodate that charge pipe. And the reason why I had to cut it is because the charge pipes are upgraded and they're bigger than stock. So when you put this intake back in the car, keep that in mind that this intake's not going to fit when you're actually going to upgrade the charge pipes. Now, I didn't realize this until after I did the engine rebuild series, and I wasn't in a position to buy a whole brand new intake for the car after doing all that. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. All right, so pretty much you get these little Allen screws that go throughout the intake install. So you have 4 of them that actually was to bolt up that velocity stack to the upper tray that you see for where the air is going to channel into the intake. And now what I'm doing now, there's these 2 little square pockets on each side of the radiator support on the top where you actually bolt this up to. You just want to continue to make sure that it's aligned with no issues, and then you're going to actually just put in the screw and tighten it down. Also in this, I just also made sure those other 4 bolt-on pieces that I bolted the 2 pieces together, and those 4 bolts that you can clearly see, I just make sure I went back again and tightened them down to ensure that they were pretty tight. Okay, so now it's actually the time to deal with the secondary air injection and also the vacuum line. So in integrated engineering, you're going to look at this 90-degree bend silicone hose. And this actually comes, like I said, it comes with the kit. And the good thing about the integrated engineering kit is that the secondary air ejection pump plugs right into this. So you have that silver adapter that goes right into the coupler. And then also you have a 90-degree plastic elbow that also goes into it as well. So as you see, I'm putting that in, just getting that all installed and ready to go, and making sure that's firm and tight with a clamp over it to ensure that it doesn't slip off. One thing to note, you see the pipe that I just touched right there? That's actually connected to the turbo inlet pipe. Now, integrated engineering sends you 2 different inlet pipe tubes that connect to it. One is actually utilized for if you have a stock turbo inlet pipe, and one is actually bigger. So if you have an upgraded turbo inlet pipe, you use that one. Since we have an upgraded one on the car already, we're going to be utilizing the bigger pipe, and then see that the metal hose would actually connect to that, and then you use the 90-degree angle to connect to the velocity stack. So we're piecing that all together, and we should be good to go. So after connecting everything, like I said, the turbo muffler delete pipe to the mid pipe, then actually to the velocity stack, the last thing you're going to have to do here is just install the actual filter itself, which is the last part of this install. So pretty much, like I said, you just slip it on top of the velocity stack, and then you just tighten down the clamp on top of it, and you should be good to go. Now, also remember this. There's 2 ways to install this intake kit. 1 is without the carbon fiber lid, and 2 is like this. So if you did not order the carbon fiber lid, which is actually sold separately, then you're pretty much done at this point. You can start driving the car. But if you're not done, and if you did order the carbon fiber piece, we're going to jump into that part right now. Now, like I said in the last clip, This carbon fiber piece that goes on top of the intake is sold separately, so it has its own hardware. I believe there's about 6 to 8 Allen screws that actually screw into the actual metal backing of this intake. So the cool thing about it is you actually see it actually slides underneath the radiator support, and then you're able to actually get it all fitted up and everything. So just want to let you know that's pretty much all you have to do with it. It's literally just slip it inside and then you screw it in on the backing. So there's like holes that you see like on the top of this tray right here that go across, and you just bolt those into its place and you should be good to go. And there she is. It's all installed. It's all clean. One of the things I really do appreciate about this intake kit is the fit and finish. The finish meaning that carbon fiber piece and all the powder coated metal components, it's absolutely flawless. Also, the instructions, very straightforward when it comes down to installation of these parts. But I also now wanted to get a light to show you that carbon fiber. The weave is absolutely perfect. Of course, I messed it up with my fingerprints. And also you have that badge on the corner as well. And it's just a clean install. It looks really clean. It looks like it belongs there, which is what I really, really do appreciate about this kit. And that's it. That's going to conclude this install. Alright guys, well that's going to conclude this video of the integrated engineering intake. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to JR14. You guys always remember, when we install carbon fiber intakes yet again on Project Mark 7, you guys always remember that cars are a lifestyle.